The entire legacy media is imploding. And I'm not even talking about their ratings, which have been embarrassingly low. Instead, the entire country is all finally seeing how foolish, dangerous, and corrupt the media is. Personally, I was sickened when ABC spiked an expose that would bring down Clinton and Epstein because network brass didn't want to jeopardize their access to the royal family.
I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on the air. First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton, we had everything. I tried for 3 years to get it on, to no avail, and now it's all coming out, and it's like these new revelations, and I freaking had all of it. I'm so pissed right now. So do I think he was killed? 100%. Yes, I do. Because he made his whole living blackmailing people.
ABC had the goods on a serial pedophile, but did nothing. How many more young girls were hurt because ABC wanted to interview Prince Harry? And it turns out it was all for nothing, as Oprah and CBS stole their royal interview.
So your story with the prince does have a happy ending?
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really did.
It has a happy ending because you made it so.
Yeah, greater than any fairy tale you've ever read. Yeah.
Greater than any fairy tale.
Oh, my goodness. Tough break, ABC. You sold out your integrity, and we're left empty-handed. They have another issue with Whoopi Goldberg and Nazis, and we'll get to that in just a minute. But this morning, Jeff Zucker, the man in charge of CNN, quit after he was found to be sleeping with CNN's head of media relations. Likely this is Chris Cuomo getting revenge on Jeff for canceling him in disgrace and not paying out the rest of his salary. This is on the heels of the Jeffrey Toobin situation, you know, the CNN lawyer who got caught red-handed mixing business with pleasure on a Zoom call. And then there was not one, but two producers at the network who left after being tied to alleged sex crimes with kids. All this while Don Lemon's fighting a lawsuit where he's accused of shoving his hands down a man's pants. And it's not just CNN. MSNBC's dealing with its own problems. The network's most popular personality, Rachel Maddow, announced this week she was going to take a break from her nightly show. This after primetime smoked her in the ratings. Not a coincidence. She said she'd be back in April, but left the door open for another hiatus. Is Maddow finally seeing the writing on the wall? It's over at MSNBC. After the Russia hoax, MSNBC was toast, and Rachel knows that. And while Maddow is stepping aside, Whoopi Goldberg was suspended from The View for these comments.
The Holocaust isn't about race.
No.
No, it's not about
maybe
race.
ethnicity.
Well,
no,
it's about
a different race.
But it's not about race. It's not about race.
What is it about?
Because it's about man's inhumanity to man. That's what it's about.
But it's about white supremacy. It's about
but
going
it's
after
not, it's
Jews
not about
and
race.
gypsies
But these are two
Romas.
white groups of people.
Maybe Whoopi was taught the critical race theory of the Holocaust. But can we really expect The View to know about Nazis when they thought people who wore red hats in America were Nazis? Of course not. Now, if I said what Whoopi said, this would not be my world anymore. Let's just put it that way. But the left circled the wagons around Goldberg. Check out disgraced former Senator Al Franken on CNN earlier.
I know Whoopi. She's not anti-Semitic. She chose Goldberg for her last name for a stage name.
Way to go, Al. Double down on the anti-Semitism with more anti-Semitism. And he wasn't even the first to rush to Whoopi's defense. Watch.
This is something that is just going to start getting ridiculous. I mean, if Whoopi Goldberg is canceled, that would be the end. I mean, that would be the end of this all. This cancel culture is getting so out of hand.
Literally just days before MSNBC tried to get Spotify to cancel Joe Rogan for saying something not offensive at all.
This is so stupid. It's so stupid.
It is getting a reaction, and they're trying to deal with it. But they're trying to deal with a situation that they made a decision purely based on money.
Yeah,
and now they're paying for it.
And Spotify said it was a total cop-out. Label the garbage discussions where have a guy on spewing conspiracy theories about the vaccine.
It's a total cop-out. They're clearly not willing to get rid of one of their big moneymakers, Joe Rogan, as distasteful as his opinions are.
Cancel Rogan, but keep Whoopi, okay? It's blatantly corrupt. The legacy media is dying, losing credibility, losing audience, and clinging to power by trying to censor honest and fresh voices who threaten their stake in the game and threaten their control of the conversation and flow of information. It's why the fake news media is trying to take out Rogan, Dan Bongino, Dave Portnoy, Tucker Carlson, and other new media sensations who dare speak their mind. But it's backfiring and making them weak. Their targets are getting stronger. Is this the end of the evil empire? These developments in the media recently are good news for you. The liars are leaving, networks are teetering, and hosts are making fools of themselves every damn day, while Fox and others are healthy and strong. This seismic shift is not just happening with what we're watching on TV, it's also in how we're feeling about the streets. The defund the police movement is dead. The crime wave killed it. Radical DAs and the war on bail soaking the streets in blood. The people have had enough. After the tragic death of 2 young NYPD officers just last week, the city turned out to honor their sacrifice, with thousands of officers, civilians, and New Yorkers lining the streets to say farewell to 2 heroes. And hear this message from Officer Jason Rivera's widow. Listen.
The system continues to fail us. We are not safe anymore. I know you were tired of these laws, especially the ones from the new DA. I hope he's watching you speak through me right now. All of our blue family is tired too. But I promise, we promise, that your death won't be in vain.
The American people will not let their sacrifice be in vain. We never walked away from police. It was only the far left who did. The American spirit's bouncing back in our cities after hitting rock bottom. And it's not just crime people have had enough of. It's COVID, too. Just ask our friendly neighbors from the north. When Canadians rise up, we got to look at what's going on. The nicest, most polite people on earth don't pour out to protest for nothing. That's when you know it's over, when the Canadians turn on you. Anthony Fauci's been exposed as a total fraud. His lockdowns were costlier than the virus. Quarantining the entire country, including the healthy, suppressing early treatment, when he could have just said, go outside, eat healthy, exercise, take some zinc and vitamin D. Instead, Fauci told you to hide.
How'd you find it? This is where I come to cry.
Just sit inside with a mask, and if you get COVID, wait until you can't breathe. Then go to a hospital and get strapped to a ventilator. That was the dumbest plan ever. He hurt an entire generation of children, destroyed small business, pushed people into poverty, divided the country, screwed up our supply chains, and made the rich get richer and more powerful while everybody else suffered. So after all we've been through, the Great Awakening is here. We're seeing it before our own eyes. New voices like Primetime are replacing the old media. The spirit of law and order is slowly being breathed back into the streets. And we're planning for a future without COVID. There's real energy out there. You can feel it. You can almost taste it.